Hello there. I watched this the other day, Yellowbeard. It is a fantasy action adventure comedy starring Graham Chapman of Monty Python, also Eric Idle of Monty Python, John Cleese of Monty Python, Peter Boyle, Cheech and Chong. Lots of comedy actors in here. And with so many Monty Python actors in here, you'd think this would be a pretty Monty Python movie. Well, it kind of is, but it's kind of not nearly as good as any Monty Python movie. I'm pretty pro Monty Python. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, one of the funniest movies I ever saw in my life. Monty Python's Meaning of Life, another one of those. Monty Python's Life of Brian, and now for something completely different. Then you get movies like this, which are peripheral Monty Python movies, just like Jabberwocky. Now, Jabberwocky was directed by Terry Gilliam and starred Michael Palin, both of Monty Python fame, right? That wasn't that funny. And this one's not really that funny either. I mean, the performances you get from Graham Chapman and John Cleese are both pretty good. Graham Chapman is the main character in here. He's Yellowbeard the pirate. The whole movie kind of centers on him. And John Cleese is like a spy or a informant or something like that. Anyway, somebody who's after Yellowbeard, trying to keep him in prison or trying to get the treasure that Yellowbeard has hidden somewhere and only he knows where it is. I liked him. I thought he was funny. He was crazy and like psychotic and over the top and kind of like some of his best Monty Python characters, I suppose. Yeah, he was okay, but it just felt so weird to have him wedged in there with a bunch of more traditional, like, American and British, like, comedy actors, such as Madeline Kahn, Peter Boyle, Cheech and Chong. Still can't get over that one. Yeah, it works out to be a really confusing mess of a comedy movie. Okay, well, the basic story is this. There's Yellowbeard the pirate. He's this notorious pirate. He's a jerk or whatever. And he gets sent to prison for 20 years for piracy, I guess. Meanwhile, his first mate, whom he kind of, I guess, betrayed or whatever, is out to get him and get his treasure. Royalty gets involved, the Queen of England. And Eric Idle actually plays like the liaison for the Queen of England. Let me just say that Eric Idle's not very funny in this movie. And I always thought Eric Idle was one of the funnier guys in Monty Python. And here he's just flat and not really any good jokes revolve around him. Or he doesn't get to be as silly as Monty Python. Graham Chapman gets to be super silly because he's in character like this crazy psycho pirate. Just a bastard, doesn't care about anybody for the whole movie. And everybody else is just reacting to him and, you know, following him around and whatever, and I guess spurring him on this adventure to go find his treasure. Yeah, and Cheech and Chong in this movie, what the hell? Tommy Chong plays like this conquistador that's gone mad or whatever and forms like a cult or something, and he's after Yellowbeard's treasure. Cheech Marin is like his subordinate or whatever and has to obey all his commands and stuff, and they're kind of like really just side characters, not really villains, but well, I guess villains, I don't know. I recently reviewed Cheech and Chong's Corsican Brothers on my channel here, and that movie had the problem that while Cheech Marin is kind of still the same as you would expect him to be in any Cheech and Chong movie, Tommy Chong was totally different. Well, in this movie, both Cheech and Chong are pretty different from what you're used to in their movies, right? Thereby not as funny. Maybe that, or, you know, just the story that's written around them is really dumb, and they're just like, hey, acting job, right on, okay. And they play in this, like, sort of age of exploration, kind of 1700s or something like that. So they have this, like, period comedy that they're starring in, and they're like, well, hey, let's do our own movie, let's do the Corsican Brothers, and look how that turned out. But yeah, this one probably was about the same level as funny as that movie. Well, if not any funnier. There wasn't anything in it that really made me want to keep watching it. As a matter of fact, this was a real chore to get through this movie. It's not terrible, but it was boring and a lot of really lame jokes in there. There's a few good ones too, but more often than not, I'm expecting Monty Python and I'm giving Young Frankenstein. So I'm going to give Yellowbeard, I'm going to give it a standard old C+. Because, yeah, they tried. I mean, and they failed. Oh, yes, they failed. This was a big budget movie, and it flopped at the box office. And not very memorable. As a matter of fact, I forgot this movie existed until I saw it on the shelf, and I was like, what's that again? And then I remembered back to the 80s when this came out. Oh, it's from 1983, by the way. But I never got to see it in the theater, and anybody that went to see it, I never talked to them. And so it just went away. And then it came back to the thrift store, of course, like, a couple weeks ago. I picked it up and I thought I'd give it a chance, and yeah, I don't really recommend this movie. If you're a hardcore Monty Python fan, or a hardcore Cheech and Chong fan for that matter, I guess you'd probably like this, but, well, maybe you wouldn't like it, but you'd want to see it. I don't know, C+. So until next time, folks, have a good one out there.